A very good afternoon, everybody. Welcome again to another special edition of Friday Drinks. We are at the CZI annual conference, and it's day 2 on the 9th of October, 2025. So far, it's been an interesting one. Lots of masterclasses, lots of people talking about things that's actually happening around the world and also in Zimbabwe. And we've got a very interesting gentleman who came all the way from Bulawayo. And thank you very much, Stephen. So maybe you can just introduce yourself and what brings you to Harare and what you actually do as far as CZI is concerned, as well as your business.
Okay, thank you very much for hosting me. My name is Stephen Ncube. I'm the current Confederation of Zimbabwe Industries Matabeleland Chapter president, representing Matabeleland, the whole of Matabeleland region. That includes Bulawayo Metropolitan, Mat South, and Mat North. The reason why is that we've come to learn, obviously, collaborate with other businesses in the same field, and also look at a very interesting session on artificial intelligence for business masterclass, which actually was very insightful and eye-opening in terms of what business needs to do. What actually the key takeaway from that is that, for you to be AI ready as a business, you need to make sure that you've got a data strategy. Then after that, having a data strategy, also you need a digitalization strategy so that then works for you. What is also very interesting is that, in terms of the surveys that have been conducted on AI, almost 70% of CEOs, chief executive officers, have actually invested in artificial intelligence. So we need to embrace that phenomenon, so that at least we remain relevant at businesses in order to compete not only in the regional market but international markets where AI has been used quite a lot.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen, for that. So it's day 2, and it's AI for business. That's the theme that CZI is running for day 2. And there were quite a number of masterclasses, and with a very preeminent panel and guests who actually gave a talk and a masterclass on this. Who was your favorite?
Look, to be honest, all the presenters, they presented well today.
I'm sure somebody tickled your fancy more than others.
Quite interesting was, Nick and Joe, who presented on AI for business.
Yeah,
that was quite invaluable for us. At least I got to know how AI is impacting businesses and the way we are living. It's
we'll get into AI, but tell us a little bit more about CZI in Matabeleland and what you guys are doing and what your focus is for the next year.
Okay, so as CZI Matabeleland, as business, organized business member organization CZI, we have got more than 70% of our membership being corporates. But we have also the academia and also, government departments that are part of CZI. What we've done is that we have noted that we operate in a community, and that community that we serve as CZI, we need to bring it on board in terms of engagement on policy and also, strategy. So we find that we are not working only with businesses. We are also working with the residents associations that we're working with in terms of improving the ease of doing business in Bulawayo. One case, an example, is the issue of Bulawayo City Council on the issue of the tariffs that are charging business, which are obviously affecting businesses. And we've got some businesses that have actually closed and some have relocated to cities where the ease of doing business is much better for them. So we saw that we need to collaborate and partner these residents associations, so that at least we have one voice in terms of ensuring that business is done in Bulawayo and the economy of Bulawayo, geoeconomy of Bulawayo continues to survive.
Used to be a manufacturing hub, not just in Zimbabwe, but right across Southern Africa. But I suppose now it's more gold and cattle. What can you give us a bit of what Matabeleland looks like in terms of the industries that are firing and that are employing more people and are dominant.
Okay, we still have, the manufacturing base for information, and we've also attracted, some companies to come and set up in Bulawayo. For the big companies that are operating in Bulawayo, we've got the Traeger Group, we've got Raw Retail Private Limited, previously RNO Private Limited, we've got Lobos Biscuits, we have Lobos Bread, and we've got bakers in that have set up, a state-of-the-art machinery, mostly robotics, I think AI enabled. And we've got one of the companies that is set up in Bulawayo, Proceeds, which is quite exciting. And we see some small to medium enterprise also coming on board. So in terms of manufacturing is still happening in Bulawayo, but what we just need is to maybe an enabling environment so that it leads to attract more investment. The challenge that has been facing is Bulawayo in particular is the water crisis, which one of the setbacks that we have. But I'm happy that the government is doing something in terms of ensuring that we get water from Guaishangan, although it's a project that is taking too long. We hope that if that comes on board, it will help industry in Bulawayo to be able to attract investment in Bulawayo.
True. And tourism, we saw the reconstruction of the Bulawayo Victoria Falls Road.
Yes.
What's the progress there?
I'm not quite sure for now, but what I understand, there are contractors that are on site now. Okay.
That's
but
encouraging.
what is quite interesting in Matabeleland North is that we've got the Victoria Falls foreign exchange market, which is quite exciting in terms of the capital markets. And we've got quite low, like what you've said, in terms of the tourism. We've got Wange, we've got Victoria Falls being the main attraction in terms of tourists. If you also look at Mad South, is quite endowed with minerals. We've got gold and other minerals that are in that region, and we've got cattle ranching, obviously, that you referred to. It's quite there's quite potential for investment.
Yeah, we keep hearing.
The steak in that part of the world is phenomenal.
Succulent.
It's
the best.
Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah.
And it's actually quite sad that we don't export it. I think we could get premium pricing and sell all the beef that we produce. But we don't seem to be exporting at all.
You previously, if my memory still serves me well, we used to export to the
EU.
To the EU.
Yes.
Because if you look, you're right to say that the quality of beef is quite good compared with other provinces. It's something that I think we need to look at. Obviously, there are stringent controls in terms of food safety around the EU, which is something that maybe we can work on as a country and also as a region to ensure that we export, what they require.
Yeah.
But in terms of qualities, it's quite good quality.
So I've spent a bit of time in Gwanda, and I've seen that the town is booming, and I suppose because of gold. And you can see that there's a lot more activity in Gwanda than it is in Bulawayo. Would you say that could be the direction that Matabeleland is going, into the smaller towns, because that's where the economic activity is? Filabusi as well, I think that, and Plumtree.
Not necessarily, but in terms of mining, yes, you are right to say that in Filabusi, around that area, Gwanda, there's a lot of gold mining taking place. But in terms of commercial activity and manufacturing, Bulawayo is the town to do that. So I find that obviously whatever activity that happens in Gwanda or Filabusi, the money ends up in Bulawayo.
So there's a raging debate, and I think it's not just relevant in Zimbabwe. I think globally about manufacturing. Can we onshore manufacturing that went offshore in the past for whatever reason? So like if we look at it from a global perspective, that's the debate that's raging in the US today about was it a mistake to outsource all this manufacturing to the Chinese, and to what extent can you actually get the manufacturing back in the US, and I suppose that's a relevant question for Bulawayo and Matabeleland, because 30 years ago it was a big industrial hub, and we did a lot of manufacturing there, and then we kind of fell off the wagon. We had our challenges with hyperinflation and other problems, and a lot of that manufacturing died, and we import a lot of things that we used to manufacture. So from your perspective, when we think about manufacturing in Zimbabwe today and in Matabeleland, is there a case to be made that we can be competitive as a manufacturing hub, notwithstanding that the supply chains have moved, and for a lot of these things it seems like the Chinese and other hubs can manufacture at bigger scale, better quality, cheaper. I mean, what's your take?
Okay, you see, there's still potential for us to go back to the previous years where we used to be the manufacturing hub of the country. But obviously there are issues that need to be addressed. For example, compliance costs that constitute about 18% of the cost of doing business. Once we address that, I'm sure we'll be able to step up in terms of manufacturing. Look, I still think that Zimbabwe is still the manufacturing hub of the region. Yes, it's debatable if you compare with South Africa. The reason I'm saying that, I've traveled quite a number of African countries. You see almost more than 99%. For example, if you look at the food FMCG, you find that 99% of what is on the shelves is imported, which is different from Zim, where we've got almost 80% or so of product that is locally manufactured. So we still have a manufacturing base that we need to improve on. When we look at the ease of doing business, improving the ease of doing business, and obviously looking at policy consistency. Once that is addressed, I'm sure that we'll compete regionally and internationally.
Fantastic. Maybe one last thing before we leave is maybe tell us what we can look forward to as far as CZI is concerned in Matabeleland.
Okay. So we obviously looking at policy advocacy.
Okay.
Was one of our key pillars is policy advocacy. And we have done that before, influence policy. I was talking about the city of Bulawayo, where the issue of tariffs has been quite a cost to the business. You find that they've managed to reduce, the water charge, which was quite an expense to the business. And we also look at there are some policies that we influence in terms of fiscal policy. For example, you know that most of the confectionery manufacturing is done in Bulawayo, biscuits and confectionery manufacturing. So we managed to get biscuits and sweets as designated products to imported products. For example, if you don't have an import license or you have not paid VAT, you're not tax compliant, then your product, if you brought in your product, it's deemed as if it's smuggled product. Yeah. So those are some of the policy advocacies that we are putting across. There's still room for improvement in terms of the geo-economy of Bulawayo. It's not only the issue of tariffs, it's quite a range of issues to do with compliance costs that I'm sure government is addressing at a high level, which is quite welcome.
Fantastic. Yeah. On that note, thank you very much for joining us, and enjoy the rest of the sessions. And thanks to our sponsors, that's BAT, Old Mutual, Carefulos, and
Delta.
Delta.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you, gentlemen, for having me.